You've heard the names, Oppenheimer, Rupert, Mouton, but few know the truth behind their rise. What if I told you some of South Africa's wealthiest families didn't just inherit money, they engineered entire industries from the ground up? Today we're lifting the curtain on the 10 richest South African families and the secrets behind their fortune. Number 10, the Saltzman family. It started in 1978 with 2 pharmacists, a single store, and one dangerous idea. Ivan and Lynette Saltzman weren't trying to compete with South Africa's pharmaceutical giants. They were trying to reinvent them. Back then, pharmacies were simple. You paid full price, trusted your local chemist, and left. But the Saltzmans had a bold question. Why should medicine and wellness be a luxury? So they broke tradition. They sold products at discounted prices, often undercutting competitors who thought they were crazy. Within months, customers started lining up. The shop wasn't fancy, but the shelves were full, and word spread fast. By focusing on affordable wellness, they tapped into something far bigger than a business. They built trust. That tiny pharmacy would become Dis-Chem, now one of South Africa's largest health and beauty chains, with hundreds of stores across the country and a growing presence beyond its borders. When the company went public in 2016, it was a turning point. The Saltzman family still owned over half the business, 54.4% to be exact, giving them control over a company valued at more than $1.4 billion. In other words, what started as a neighborhood pharmacy has grown into a family fortune worth nearly $1 billion today. And the secret? A mix of empathy and innovation. While most competitors fought to protect their margins, the Saltzmans focused on helping ordinary South Africans stretch their money further. That act of generosity turned into one of the smartest business moves in retail history. Number 9, the Depar family. In the late 1970s, South Africa's financial industry was an old boys club, slow, traditional, and afraid of change. But one man, Laurie Depar, saw opportunity where others saw obstacles. Born in 1948, Depar didn't come from generational wealth. What he had was vision and a belief that banking could be faster, smarter, and built for the future. In 1977, alongside partners Garrett G.T. Ferreira and Paul Harris, he co-founded Rand Consolidated Investments, a small but ambitious financial firm. At the time, few believed they could compete with South Africa's established giants. Yet, through strategic mergers and fearless acquisitions, the company grew rapidly. Then came the move that changed everything. In the 1990s, their enterprise merged with other financial powerhouses to form First Rand Limited, one of South Africa's most influential banking groups. Under Depar's leadership, the firm expanded into retail banking, investment services, and insurance, eventually becoming a household name across the country. Today, First Rand is one of Africa's largest financial institutions, with assets worth tens of billions, and behind its rise stands the Depar family, quietly holding their place among the nation's wealthiest dynasties. The Depar family's combined fortune is estimated at over $610 million, built not from inheritance, but from innovation. Their empire is proof that sometimes the biggest fortunes come not from what you build, but from what you bring together. Number 8, the Leroux family. In a world where most billionaires come from business or finance, Michel Leroux started somewhere completely different. The courtroom. Trained as a lawyer, Leroux understood people, not just paperwork, but he also saw how millions of South Africans were locked out of traditional banking, forced to live without access to loans, credit, or even a safe place to store their savings. So in 2001, at the age of 52, he did something extraordinary. He walked away from law and founded a brand new bank, one built for the people, not just the privileged. That bank would become Capitec, a name now synonymous with accessibility and innovation. Leroux's approach was radical. Instead of catering to the wealthy few, Capitec simplified everything. No hidden fees, transparent pricing, and fast digital access. It was banking for everyone, and South Africans embraced it instantly. Under his leadership, Capitec transformed from a small startup into one of Africa's most trusted financial institutions, serving millions and revolutionizing how ordinary people manage money. The family's 11% ownership stake in the bank has turned Leroux into one of South Africa's most respected business figures, and one of its richest. Today, the Leroux family's fortune stands at roughly $1.3 billion, all built on a single insight. When you give ordinary people access to opportunity, you create extraordinary wealth. Number 7, the Saad family. In the mid-1990s, South Africa's pharmaceutical landscape was dominated by international corporations. Local drug makers struggled to compete, and medicine remained too expensive for most families. But Stephen Saad, a young entrepreneur from Durban, believed there was another way. At just 29 years old, he sold his stake in a small drug company for $3 million and used it to start something far bigger. In 1997, Saad co-founded Aspen Pharmacare, a company built on one simple but powerful idea: make high-quality medicines affordable for everyone. Instead of chasing prestige, Aspen focused on generic drugs, proven formulas that could save lives without the brand name price tag. What began as a modest operation quickly grew into Africa's largest pharmaceutical company, producing everything from painkillers to life-saving HIV treatments. Aspen's reach now spans over 150 countries, turning it into a global player on par with some of the biggest names in medicine. Saad's boldness didn't just create a business, it built a dynasty. His leadership earned him South Africa's Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2016, and today, the Saad family's fortune is estimated at $1.2 billion. Their secret? Betting on purpose over prestige. By focusing on the needs of millions rather than the few, the Saad family turned compassion into one of the most profitable business models in Africa. Number 6. The Wiese family. Not every billionaire's path is spotless, and Christoffel Wiese knows that better than most. Born in 1941 in Upington, Wiese grew up far from South Africa's corporate centers, but he had something that couldn't be taught: instinct. He understood ordinary consumers, what they wanted, how they shopped, and why price mattered more than prestige. In the 1960s, Wiese joined Pepkor, a small discount clothing chain. His strategy was simple: sell basic clothing and household goods at the lowest prices possible, and reach the mass market others ignored. That formula exploded. Pepkor became one of South Africa's most recognized retail brands, with outlets stretching across the continent. And then came the move that would elevate the Wiese family into the billionaire ranks, and later nearly destroy it. In 2015, Wiese sold Pepkor to the furniture giant Steinhoff International for a staggering $5.7 billion in cash and stock. Overnight, he became South Africa's richest man. But just 2 years later, Steinhoff collapsed under the weight of a massive accounting scandal, wiping out billions in value and forcing Wiese to step down as chairman. For many, that would have been the end of the story. Yet Wiese rebuilt. He held onto major stakes in Shoprite Holdings, one of Africa's biggest supermarket groups, as well as in Invicta Holdings and Pallinghurst, diversifying his portfolio and stabilizing the family's wealth. Today, despite the chaos, the Wiese family remains among South Africa's richest, with an estimated net worth of $1.1 billion. Their rise and survival prove that true business power isn't about avoiding risk, it's about outlasting it. Number 5. The Becker family. Before Netflix, before YouTube, and long before smartphones ruled our attention, one South African visionary saw what was coming, and he built an empire to meet it. Koos Becker, born in 1952, wasn't your typical billionaire. He wasn't born into wealth or royalty, but what he did have was foresight, the ability to see where the world was heading before anyone else did. In the early 1990s, as South Africa was entering a new era, Becker took charge of a relatively modest media group called Naspers. At the time, it was a local newspaper and magazine publisher, but Becker had bigger dreams. He wanted to transform it into a global digital powerhouse. Under his leadership, Naspers launched Mnet and DStv, bringing satellite television to millions of homes across Africa. But Becker's boldest move came in 2001, when Naspers invested $32 million in a small Chinese tech startup called Tencent, the company behind WeChat and QQ. That single decision turned out to be one of the greatest tech investments in history. Over time, Naspers' stake in Tencent grew to be worth over $100 billion, catapulting the company and the Becker family way into the ranks of the world's media elite. Today, Koos Becker's family fortune sits around $2.4 billion, built on the power of seeing tomorrow before it arrives. His story is a reminder that while others wait for the future, visionaries quietly buy it. Number 4. The Mouton family. Some fortunes are inherited, others are earned twice, once through success and again through recovery. For Gianni Mouton, the founder of PSG Group, the road to riches began not with triumph, but with humiliation. Born in 1946, Motsepe worked his way up through the corporate ranks of South Africa's finance industry. By his early 40s, he was managing partner at a respected stockbroking firm. Then, in 1995, everything fell apart. After a bitter internal dispute, Motsepe was fired, stripped of his position and reputation in a single day. Many would have walked away, but not Janny. Instead, he took the pain of that loss and turned it into motivation. With a few trusted allies, he launched PSG Group, a modest investment company that started small but thought big. Over time, PSG became one of South Africa's most successful investment holding firms, with stakes in financial services, private equity, agriculture, and education. Motsepe's genius was in spotting talent and opportunity early. He invested in emerging companies long before others noticed their potential, a strategy that paid off again and again. Today, PSG's portfolio includes major names like Capitec Bank, one of the country's most trusted financial institutions. Janny's son, Piet Motsepe, now serves as the group's CEO, ensuring the dynasty continues to grow. Together, the Motsepe family has built an estimated $1 billion fortune, a symbol of persistence and vision. Their legacy stands as a lesson for entrepreneurs everywhere. Sometimes being fired isn't the end, it's the beginning of freedom. 3. The Oppenheimer family. For nearly a century, one name defined South Africa's diamond trade: Oppenheimer. Their story is one of power, precision, and perhaps the most valuable gem of all: timing. It began in the early 1900s, when Ernest Oppenheimer took control of De Beers, transforming it from a mining company into a global monopoly. Through 3 generations, the Oppenheimers shaped the world's diamond supply, influencing everything from prices to perception. For decades, a single phrase summed it up: a diamond is forever. But in a bold and unexpected move, Nicky Oppenheimer, born in 1945, decided his family's fortune didn't need to depend on the mines anymore. In 2012, he sold their 40% stake in De Beers to mining giant Anglo-American for $5.1 billion in cash. It was the end of an era, but the start of a new legacy. Rather than chasing industrial power, Nicky shifted focus toward philanthropy, private equity, and conservation. He co-founded Tana Africa Capital, a joint venture investing in businesses across the continent, and developed Swallow Kalahari, South Africa's largest private game reserves. The sale didn't just free the family from the volatile world of commodities, it secured their position as one of Africa's most enduring dynasties. Today, the Oppenheimer family is worth an estimated $8.8 billion, quietly building influence far beyond diamonds. Their secret wasn't in holding on, it was in letting go. By stepping away from the empire they built, they ensured their wealth and their legacy would shine for generations. Number 2, the Motsepe family. In the world of business, few names carry as much respect nor symbolism as Patrice Motsepe. Born in 1962 in Soweto, his story is one of grit, intelligence, and timing, a journey from small-town entrepreneur to Africa's first black billionaire. Motsepe's father ran a small shop that served mine workers, giving young Patrice an early look at both the hardships and opportunities hidden beneath South Africa's soil. After studying law, he entered the corporate world, but quickly realized that true wealth didn't come from working for companies, but owning them. In 1997, just a few years after apartheid ended, Motsepe founded African Rainbow Minerals, or ARM, becoming one of the first black South Africans to own a mining company. He focused on gold, platinum, and ferrous metals, striking deals that allowed him to buy low-performing mines and turn them profitable. His approach combined strategic partnerships with a deep commitment to empowerment, creating jobs, supporting communities, and proving that capitalism and conscience could coexist. Over time, ARM grew into a powerhouse, expanding across sectors and contributing to South Africa's economic transformation. Beyond mining, Motsepe also holds a stake in Sanlam, a major financial services firm, and owns the Mamelodi Sundowns, one of Africa's most successful football clubs. His achievements extend beyond business. In 2021, he was elected president of the Confederation of African Football, solidifying his influence across the continent. Today, the Motsepe family is worth approximately $3.3 billion, a fortune built on vision, discipline, and impact. Their story is proof that true wealth isn't just measured in gold or numbers, it's measured in legacy. Number 1, the Rupert family. Some families chase money, others chase meaning, but the Rupert family, they chased craftsmanship and turned it into one of the most valuable legacies on earth. The story begins with Anton Rupert, a chemistry teacher from the small town of Graaf Reinet. In 1941, with only $10 in startup capital, he began producing hand-rolled cigarettes in his garage. That humble business grew into Rembrandt, a tobacco company that would later diversify into wines, spirits, and investments, laying the foundation for the family's vast empire. When Anton's son, Johann Rupert, took the reins, he made a move that would redefine the family's identity. In 1988, he split the company, creating Compagnie Financière Richemont, a Swiss-based luxury conglomerate that today owns some of the world's most iconic brands, including Cartier, Montblanc, Piaget, Van Cleef and Arpels, and Jaeger-LeCoultre. Under Johann's leadership, Richemont became a symbol of timeless elegance. Proof that a South African family could shape the global luxury market from Geneva to Paris, New York to Tokyo. Beyond business, the Ruperts are known for their philanthropy, art collections, and conservation efforts, helping preserve South Africa's natural and cultural heritage. Today, the Rupert family commands an estimated $8.9 billion fortune, placing them at the pinnacle of South African wealth. But their true power lies not in their balance sheet, it lies in their taste, legacy, and quiet influence over industries most can only dream of entering.